Good morning. It's 9 a.m. I know. Gay people and 9 a.m. don't really go together, but this is something new. I'm going to talk about LGBTQ plus stuff and get our week started. So get a cup of Joe, and I love me some Joe. I mean, I am Colombian, but not the way most of you do. Anyway, so we've got some things to talk about. It's going to be a great week. Just watch.
Gay boys, hashtag that girl, sunbeams, drag queens, L-word, is that girl, the girl of all our dreams. She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl, pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton, is that girl, Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
Good morning, LGBTQ South Florida. This is the first gay weekly TV show in the world, and I'm FayWhat. I'm all about our community, and I want to talk about our interesting world. We have people to meet, we have events to attend, and it's time to plan our week. You may have noticed, I'm a girl. We call it a lesbian. And you may have noticed that we don't really rule the gay boy world, but that's okay, because I'm a gay boy too. So, as the FayWhat show develops, you're going to agree with me. Everyone in the L, the G, the B, the T, and the Q community have more in common than the things that separate us. I'll be here with special friends every Monday at 9 a.m. to start your week off right. And I'll be inviting special guests and friends to make our time together lots of fun. Is our community important to you? If it is, I hope you will share this experience. Like the FayWhat show on YouTube or Facebook. Shortly, you can watch us on Roku, Apple, or Google TV. I want you to support me in this endeavor. Later in today's show, we're going to get in bed with a model and entertainer for our special segment, Gay Boys Sleep Late. We're going to talk about this week's most interesting events and the things we're talking about. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But first, we begin the FayWhat show with a special guest. But today, it's guests. I thought for LGBTQ, if a girl was going to lead the conversation, I would have to invite a couple of other girls to make it real girl power. So why not start at the tippy top of the LGBTQ plus top? The National LGBTQ Task Force is the largest civil rights advocacy organization of its type in the world. Kiera Johnson is the executive director, and as a bisexual Black woman, she became one of a few out queer identified women of color to lead a national LGBTQ organization. Also joining us is Myrah Salazar, the deputy executive director. She is a Latina powerhouse and becomes a powerful representation of women of leadership in our LGBTQ plus community. Watch this. Next, the FayWhat show has a very special premiere interview. For it, we went to the very tippy top. The National LGBTQ Plus Task Force was founded back in 1973, just 4 years after the Stonewall riots. It began as the Gay Task Force, and then in 1983 added lesbian to its name. In 2014, it adopted today's name. The task force is at the forefront of LGBTQ grassroots civil rights and is one of the world's most important advocacy organizations for our community. They are central to electing officials, supporting LGBTQ rights, protecting voting rights, trans protections, reproductive issues, and so much more that is critical for our community. The task force is world-renowned for the National Task Force Gala recently held in Miami Beach. America's most important LGBTQ training and advocacy conference called Creating Change that will be held in New Orleans in January. And the world-famous Winter Park Week in South Beach that is one of the world's greatest circuit parties and important as a cause fundraiser. This morning, we are so excited to bring you not one, but two titans in the LGBTQ civil rights movement. Both worked in Washington, D.C., including Kiera Johnson, Executive Director, and Myrah Salazar, Deputy Director, both of the National LGBTQ Task Force. This morning, perfect guest on the premiere of America's LGBTQ morning show, The FayWhat Show. Girl power, baby. Welcome, Kiera and Myrah, to The FayWhat Show. Girls, I am so excited that you are my first interview on the new FayWhat Show. Thank you for saying yes.
What a welcome.
Yes, girl.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so cute.
So good to be with you.
Oh, thank you, Mama. So, LGBTQ Task Force, I saw you guys there a couple of weeks. You looked amazing. How important was it for Kiera? Like, your speech was probably the one I enjoyed the most of the evening. And that's hard to say because Miss Robin Schwartz does not stay behind, all right? Your speech was incredible. How important was it for you to be on that stage in front of, what, 700 plus people?
Yeah, it was, we've been in the middle of a pandemic, and it was so clear from the energy in that room how much we needed each other, how much we missed each other, how much energy and inspiration that we get from each other. And so for me, it was important as a new executive director of a national LGBTQ organization to be in community with you all, right?
Yes.
And to be a bridge to bring you all together again after so long.
And that is what you guys did.
Yeah.
That is what you guys did. Myrah, I saw you work in the room, my friend. How did it feel to be back among people that feel the same way that we do?
I wasn't able to be in person for the gala. We did have to downsize some of the folks that were able to attend in person. And but I do think about this moment. I think the gala is about celebrating how far we've come. I think it's about thinking about the road ahead. I think Kiera and I are very honored to be in these roles and in an organization that has a legacy of supporting LGBTQ people across generations. I think for me as a 30-year-old coming into my role as Deputy Executive Director, it's like thinking about the fact that I get to work with these badass queer women who have literally created the conditions for the both of us to be in leadership is really nice. So seeing that whole story play out at gala, even from far away, was really lovely.
I love that you referred to us as queer women. I love that. Like, I've always, that word, I love to take that word back. I'm glad that we took the power back when it comes to we're queer, we're women, and that's not a bad word. What do you think about that, Kiera?
I believe in the power of language, right? And sometimes we're coming out and we don't have the right language yet, right? Like, and we're looking, right? We're looking for a community, we're looking for our voice, but we're also looking for the right language. And so the more we expand that language, the more opportunity there is for us to find it.
Yes.
Right? So I love it. I love queer, I love bisexual, I love pansexual.
Yes.
There's so many alphabets now. I'm like, I gotta research. I gotta stay up on my names.
I've got an auntie that says, yes, LGBTQIA elemental P. Yes, love it all.
The alphabet club.
Right?
That plus comes in handy.
It really does, because everything else fits in the plus. So the task force is one of the world's most important LGBTQ civil rights organizations. Explain why it's so vital, especially today.
The task force is about engaging people and empowering people, providing access for people to live their full identities. Right? There's this word intersectionality, right? That now a lot of people know, they understand, they've heard. And that is the place where the task force centers its work, right? Like, the three of us don't show up just as lesbians or bisexual or queer. Our race is lived in tandem with our sexual orientation. Our gender is lived in tandem with our sexual orientation. Our immigration status lives in tandem. And so as we are trying to figure out what we need to do to make sure no LGBTQ plus person is left behind, that means we have to be doing policy work and cultural work at the intersections.
Yes, one of my favorite parts of your website is Be You. You guys are constantly streaming.
All of me all
Be
the time.
You, Be You. Tell me a little bit about that, Myrah.
So, I mean, be you, all of me, all the time is pretty much what Kiera just said. It's about the fact that I cannot divorce being a woman, being an immigrant, being a Latina, being queer lesbian, at any one moment. I'm all of those things all the time. And I think whenever we think about policy, the task force really tries to take a holistic approach.
Yes, definitely.
Of thinking of all of those angles, you know. And I think for me, what it has meant to be an immigrant woman, also who is a queer lesbian, it has meant like the pathways to legalization were limited for most of my life in ways that they weren't limited for heterosexual people.
Truth.
It means that me being at risk of being deported back to my country of birth, Costa Rica, it looked very different for me to live my full life in Costa Rica, right? So I think my full authentic life and self. So I think all of those variables are included in how we think about our policy. It's also is how we think about the way we convene people for creating change. Our Creating Change conference has real-time ASL.
In January, make sure you get your tickets.
Please sign up. Spanish language interpretation, and I think the task force is constantly on a journey to really like identifying, okay, who's not in the room?
Yes.
That's right.
Who's not in the room and why? And how can we make sure we are being more accessible and inclusive in our spaces?
You know, something, I have to touch on that a little bit. At the task force, I couldn't help but look around to those beautiful 700 people because we clean up nice. We look good when we take a shower and get pretty, right? But probably 30% of the room were women, excuse me. That's about it, you know, and I'm probably being a little extravagant in that number. I'm sitting at this table with Latinx, Black, Brown, queer, pansexual, and I feel super, super blessed. Why aren't more of us out there doing more?
You know, I think like our experiences in every other aspect, right, of our lives, the reality is that race, class, and gender, right, come into play, right? And sexism is alive and well in the LGBTQ movement. And that's not necessarily a critique. And if we are really going to make sure that we are expanding the civil and human rights of our people, we can't honestly think we're going to do that without women in our corner.
Of course not. No, right? We can't do it. Hello, who rules the world? Girls, girls.
Girls, right. And the reality is that women of all ages, right? When we look at the expansion of human rights, civil rights, passing essential policies, holding the community and the family together, women have always been there.
Always been at the forefront.
And so we've got to be mindful of how do we support women throughout the movement, wherever they are, however they're engaging and giving back in substantive ways. How are we making sure, like Myrah said, are we making sure that the pathway is cleared and the door is open?
Are we clearing off the branches and everything so women can get through to that side?
And I will say that, I mean, in my organizing like experience, it was always queer women who really invested in me, who like just had this generosity of spirit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right? And I think that's like the tradition that Kiera and I are really committed and carrying forward. And I also want to like name like visibility is different than just being in like leadership roles where you have decision-making power and being in rooms where you can like influence and make an impact. And I think women at every corner of social justice movements right now, from climate change to immigrant justice to reproductive justice, queer women really are leading the way. And so I think the question is like, how do we actually elevate and amplify their voices? Because they're there.
And we're loud.
Yes. And we don't apologize, and we're not afraid. And it's that spirit that's really, I think, forged the path for each of us.
Very true. So should we be focusing on LGBTQ civil rights at this moment in history?
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
24 hours a day.
We got to do it. You know, it is clear that when LGBTQ people are engaged, right, in our democracy, when we are engaged and allowed when we have space where we're able to come together and fortify, we take steps forward, right? And the reality is that the attacks right now are ferocious.
Yes, they are.
They're ferocious. I mean, our kids, in particular, our transgender kids, they are shouldering the attacks of
And
our
they're
community.
kids.
They're kids. And so, yes, we have to fight for civil rights. No one gave anybody civil rights. We took them, right? And within the LGBTQ community, it will be no different. But we've got to work together.
Let's talk a little bit about these attacks. Dave Chappelle, the closer, excuse me, his comments towards the trans community. What did you guys feel personally about that? I know, take a breath in, because I love my black brother, and it was very hard because I was a huge fan for many, many years. So then to have to go, I can't listen to you anymore.
Girl,
It was
you're
a
making me
huge
emotional.
thing. I'm sorry, Mama. That's what I do. I make people cry. I'm like the Spanish Oprah.
And laugh. You know, our people are not a monolith, right? Like, we're all on a journey. And so there's a part of me that feels protective because I don't want, you can't be on a journey if you get canceled. Your journey stops if we divest our love, our support, our education, right, of our people. Your journey, you can't continue a journey without that. And I was so sad. Like, you know, when you think about who's being incarcerated, who's being policed in stores, who's being told they can't live somewhere, who's being killed in the streets, it's black.
Yep.
Queer folks.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, my heart, right? I believe that Dave Chappelle is on a journey like my daddy was on a journey when I came out. He was not okay when I came out. But you know what? That man became my biggest champion, not despite my identities, but because of them. And I hope that Dave Chappelle and others who are not quite where we want them to be are able to open their minds, open their hearts, and open their souls to people who look like them and experience very similar things, who identify with the community and need his support.
Yeah, and would listen to him.
That's right.
He says that we are like the LGBTQ mafia. We're like the gay.
Where's the lie?
I mean, no, but I'm like, right? He's not too far off. What do you think, Myra? What do you think? Kiss my ring.
Look,
Kiss my rainbow ring.
I come up against this in the Latinx community all the time.
Me imagino.
Oh my God. And I jokingly, but also very seriously, reclaim the word sinvergüenza.
Sinvergüenza. That was something my mom used to chase me around with the chancleta
like,
saying that. Sinvergüenza.
Soy una sinvergüenza. And I had an experience actually earlier this year where I walked into a restaurant with my partner at the time. It was a Colombian restaurant in Tampa, here in Tampa. And it's a restaurant I grew up eating at with my family. And I walked in and you would have thought, they looked at us like we were aliens. And it was, and I think many of us have had those experiences,
of course.
Right? And
did you walk in with a mask? Because that happens sometimes. You walk in with a mask somewhere in Florida, and people look at you like,
what's wrong with
you got a big old wart on your face, And it's like, oh, I'm wearing a mask because I'm being safe. Oh, my bad, people,
Yeah, we walked in holding hands, right?
Proud of
the couple we were. And so I think it was this moment where I was just like, wow, Latinos, especially those of us who have migrated, we all know what that feels like. To walk into a place because of the way you're dressed, because of the way you look, because of your accent, and people just give you the look. We all know what the look feels like. And so for me, it was just really painful to experience that in this restaurant where I was just we were both Latinos. right?
And people in our community have to deal with that every single day.
And there's also stories of like joy and victory that I also want us to uplift, right? It's not all just like problematic people that are coming our communities. My mom is a similar story. My mom, when I came out, she was just like really, really shocked. She tried to do like the not talking to me thing. She lasted about 7 days.
Wow, you go mommy.
And then she did total Latina power move, Latina mom power move, where she like FaceTimed me in a week and just like nothing had happened.
Love it.
Has become the fiercest advocate, where like sometimes I have to be like, mommy, just, we don't have to do that here. But she's just, when I go into places or when I've been with a partner, she's just on high alert, looking.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are the stories too of like transformation. I think it was through her love.
Yes.
And through your love that you were able to transform them. How do your parents feel about like the what's going on right now, like how we are attacked, how with Dave Chappelle and stuff like that, and all these Republicans and evangelicals that want us dead, basically, and want us not to breathe anymore? How does your parents that like before weren't too supportive, now that they have queer daughters, have changed their tune?
You know, I feel like my family they really are my biggest cheerleaders, you know, and there are some family members I can have a deeper political conversation with than others. But with every passing day, that expands. I have an uncle who is a Mormon, and he knows what I do, and he knows that I work on LGBTQ issues, and something came up where he was, and he called my mom and he said, I understand what Kiera does now, and I'm learning so much, and I'm so proud of her.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And they're worried. They're worried about me. They're worried about
Your
others
safety.
who are coming out, right? Like in these times in our family. But they're also fiercely proud. You know, my father, before he passed away, I swear, I mean, you would think I was the president of the United States. Like anyone who would listen, he'd be like, oh, my daughter goes to the White House. I wasn't at the White House.
Daughter talking to Hillary.
I'm like, Dad, I never talked to Hillary.
My daughter is like this with Obama and Michelle.
No, seriously, I'm like, his stories of me, I'm like, I'm never gonna live up to that, dude. But super, super fiercely, you know, supportive.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And ready to check other people.
Oh, honey, in a heartbeat, right?
And those are the people that we need to turn and educate, though, ladies. Those are the important people that are going to go and tell the rest of their crew, no, we've been wrong all along. Listen to this. These are the differences that our daughters are doing. This is what we're paving the way to do, you know?
Right.
All right, let's get a little political. What should we be focusing on for the midterm elections, and what can we do?
So I'm looking at all of these Republicans, and I don't think Democrats are excused either. Some Democrats in there who are not standing behind the Equality Act, who are afraid to take a real step towards supporting federal non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ people, and I think that is a huge opportunity for us to expose them in midterms. Marco Rubio, I'm looking at you, you're up for a re-election. I've noticed, and I also remember where you stand on immigration as well.
Say it, girl.
So,
and I love that final look at the camera like, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Rubio.
yeah, Rubio. So I think there's an opportunity for us to really figure out and lay a foundation to show what the LGBTQ vote means, right? We need to be able to deliver a political punch that is strong enough where people understand, whether they love us, like us, accept us, they understand that it is politically inconvenient and unacceptable for them to not stand with our community. That's the kind of conditions I want to create through these midterms, and that's work that's sometimes 10 plus years in the making, but we're in it for the long haul.
I know you girls are in it for the long haul, and it does take a long time. I read somewhere that I think our representation in public and private office was about like 1,000 plus. That's about it. That's nothing. How can we get more of our community out there and running?
Well, I think to Myrah's point, we've got to reinvest in our people, right? I mean, our democracy is hanging in the balance. And the only way we're going to rebuild it, the only way we're going to strengthen it is if we get our community engaged. That's easier said than done sometimes, right? It's hard to convince people they need to be connected, right, to government, right, or to elections when they feel ignored, or they feel like they've fallen through the cracks.
Like it doesn't represent them.
Yeah. So we've got some mending work to do, right? Like we've got to create new pathways for people to engage. And I think when people have opportunities to build bridges in their communities, to have these conversations with elected officials, right? To like have, conversations about different policies that are interested to them, most of us get bitten by that bug, and then it's hard to turn them off.
Yes, girl.
Right? So we just need to knock on those doors, right? We need to be in the bars. Like, let's talk politics.
Let's go to the bars.
Yes! Let's register voters at the bar. Let's go to church. Let's have childcare and then talk to parents about what their fears are and what their dreams and hopes are, right? Like, we know how to do this.
We do.
So then let's do it.
Are there moments where your light is dimmed? Like I have a dog rescue organization, right? And if you're a dog lover, you know that there's many dogs out there that need homes, and it's a constant thing, and they're constantly calling us. And for every 5 dogs we rescue, there's 20 out there that need our help. Is there ever a moment where you're just like, ay, ya, no puedo más, I can't anymore. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe somebody else should be carrying the torch.
I have those days, and then I call my mommy. If you need a pep talk, you should call Myrah, the OG. I'm named after her, Myrah Salazar. She will pep talk me into the right place. But I mean, of course we have those days. I mean, seeing what's happening with all of these anti-trans bills, seeing what's happening with the attacks on reproductive justice, it's hard not to feel weighed down by that. And I want to make our work and the political work we do so infectious and so irresistible that it just like radiates that heaviness out of the moment.
But I have to tell you that you guys are infectious, and you make me want to run out. It's super mad early right now to go make change. But I would try with coffee in hand.
I know that's right.
So girls, after seeing so many gains with the Biden-Harris administration and the White House, are you scared about our future to return to darker days? Do you think that's even possible?
I think when we don't lean into our agency and power, anything's possible, right? We have to continuously remind our people that we are the government. The government isn't over there. We are the government, which means the power. We are seated in power. So what does that mean to hold that responsibility? What does it mean to leverage that for the good of the community? I do have fear, but I have more hope than I have fear. Again, I look at all these young people who are fiercely queer, right? Sin vergüenza.
Right? And unapologetically.
Unapologetic.
Yes.
And they're not just walking in an identity. They are political about it. They are cultural about it. They want to talk to their faith leaders about it. They want to be recognized in their educational institutions. They want to know how come they are treated less than human in the United States of America, and it's not a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
And that's powerful.
Massive power.
Massively powerful. So that gives me a lot of hope. A lot of hope.
Myrah?
I share this story a lot because I'm still kind of reeling from it, but I have a sister friend whose daughter is queer, and I've become the quintessential like queer auntie, right? And like she's like, I don't know how to talk to her about this. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Just Myrah, I just need you to go talk to her. And I was coaching this 14-year-old girl through polydrama.
Wow.
You know,
It's a new day.
What queer drama? The only queer drama I had at 14 was in my head. It was my imagine. It was
your imaginary girlfriend in your head.
So,
It's my imaginary girlfriend at 14. Her name was Maria. So yeah.
I'm talking to her, and she's just like, I think we have to revisit our agreements, and I'm like, okay, suspending judgment and just disbelief and just putting on my queer auntie hat.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I'm just like, wow.
Mesmerized by fluidity, by the strength.
By like adolescent queer drama.
Yes, we didn't have any of that.
Yes. And the maturity. I mean, there's a lot of the drama, but even at that age to be saying, we need to
revisit our agreements.
Renegotiate
We need
our
to,
agreements.
yes, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
I know grown people who don't do that well. So, I mean,
For sure.
I think we're doing a good job, right? Like, we've still got work to do, but when we are, you know, raising children who are in that kind of reflective
power.
place, there's nothing but good that's going to come from that.
Any PTSD from Trump world, from
Oh my
Trump
God.
administration? Look, I still can't. I always make fun with my friends because I'm like, I can't look at a pickup truck with an American flag, okay, my country, and I'm like,
You know,
like weirded out by it.
I drive a Jeep. Yeah,
How very butch of you, Myrah. How very butch of you. Myrah's single, in case if anybody likes a lesbian that drives a Jeep. Yum.
So I drive a Jeep, and you know, there's also like a group of like white nationalist people who drive Jeeps. I didn't learn this until after I got a Jeep. And so like there's the Jeep wave, right? That the Wrangler wave that people do.
How is
and,
it? Can you please do the wave for me?
like, or sometimes just like that.
Okay. You don't whip out a boob or anything.
No,
Okay, just
no,
wanna be
no
sure.
surprises.
Okay.
So it's fascinating because like for the longest time there was a lot of like people with like Trump flags or like Make America Great Again like signs on their Jeeps that would just wave at me, and I would be like,
Don't follow me.
don't shoot me.
I'm Spanish. You're trying to look as white as possible. You're trying to drive white.
So I worked on the 2020 elections. I'm actually the co-founder of United We Dream Action. You might have heard about our role in getting a certain orange agent out of office.
Certain Cheeto head, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were wiped.
Yeah.
I think I'm still wiped, honestly, from that. That was 4 years of endless attacks and against immigrants, which also worth like emphasizing includes queer people,
Right.
Yeah.
LGBTQ immigrants, and like our disparities around immigration issues are like tenfold. So I was wiped. I probably still have some PTSD. I'm in therapy. I'm working through it, and I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
It was
So-
also not just political attacks or policy attacks. I mean, it was that administration attacked our humanity.
In every way.
I mean, and that, of course, people have PTSD or residual trauma from that, because you can't go for years and ignite a whole movement that is arguing that you shouldn't be alive, that you shouldn't be able to participate in the democracy, that you actually don't deserve full rights. I mean, that is demoralizing, and it is a journey for many of us to come back from that and to have hope and to be, visionary. And then COVID started. It was like, no, universe, what are you trying to tell us? So I think it's real, and our people are resilient.
Yes, we are. We've been through so much.
We've been through so much.
Through so much.
Queer people, man.
We've been fighting since we opened our eyes, since we
Yes.
came out of the vag. Bah!
Yes. Yes, we create communities, we create families, we create healthcare systems. We have created the context for our survival and the ability for our people to thrive. I mean, if anybody, right? So we're talking about queer folks, we're talking about people of color, we're talking about women. Like, we have had to be creative.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We've had to march, right, in the face of discrimination. That's not new.
Nope.
We've got those chops. And it's all about how are we going to use it in these new times.
Yeah. So we are at the end of the year already. Can you guys believe that? Wow. So we're almost at the end of the year and ready to begin a new one because we thought 2020 was bad and then 2021 was like another ball of... What excites you the most of 2022? What excites you the most of the coming year?
I am excited to see more people, to be able to put my heart next to someone else's heart, to hug, right? To strategize in the same room and not on Zoom. You know, we're starting to be in the community again, like boots on the ground, you know, our hands, right, in the weeds. And I'm really excited about that. Like, I'm glad we've been able to continue through COVID, but there's nothing like being able to look at you in your eyes.
That personal energy that you share between two people.
It's magic.
Yes.
And I'm excited to get back to making magic with people.
Well, I have to tell you, ladies, that wherever you guys walk into, you create magic. I've got to say it. Like, you know, it's way too early in the morning, and I am just blown away by your beauty, by your creativity, by your passion, by your work. Thank you for everything that you do. Keep kicking ass.
Yeah.
Girl power. And thank you for being on the first FayWhat show as my first interview. I love you, ladies.
Love you back.
Thank you for having us.
Well, please help me to again say thank you to these beautiful, beautiful women, Miss Kiera Johnson and Miss Myrah Salazar from the LGBTQ task force right here on the FayWhat show. On the FayWhat show, we're going to bring you so many great interviews like the girls from the National LGBTQ Task Force. But up next, gay boys. You know, I'm one of those lesbians that adores my gay boys. But let's face it, this is an LGBTQ plus show at 9 a.m. in the morning. So if I want the gay boy perspective, I have to go where they're at this time of the morning. I call this segment Gay Boys Sleep Late because you boys do. So where else to go find them than while they're still in bed? This morning, we're joined by model and performer Brian Hirschberg, also known as Damien Lenore. And you can find him on Instagram at Return of Babylon. So let's get in bed with Brian as gay boys sleep late. Give me 1 minute. Hey, I need you. Brian. Hi. Hi, Papa. I know it's only a little bit after 9 a.m. I need for you to wake up. I need you.
How did you get in here?
Well, you know, I'm Puerto Rican. I got my ways. Good morning, Brian Hirschberg. How you doing, Papa?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Well, your bed seems nice and cozy. Are you naked? You are naked under there. Oh, I love this. You guys have to meet Brian Hirschberg. He is just a sex pot. He's amazing. He's gorgeous. He's a spokesmodel. He's a model. You see him out at the clubs. He is just gorge. And we are just going to be kikiing in my bed. Well, in his bed. Yeah. Did you just go to bed? A little while ago.
Recently.
So you wake up looking this hot, like on a regular basis. Your breath don't even smell. That's not even right. What the hell? Good morning.
Good morning.
So how do you wake up in the morning? Do you like have coffee? Do you have somebody like, you know, like just rubbing your feet or something in the morning to wake you up? Do you have an alarm clock? Like how do you wake up like this?
I have my alarm phone right next to my head.
Okay.
So there's no missing that.
Oh, I got it.
And then I blindly stumble into the kitchen and make coffee and then cross my fingers.
And that's usually like a little bit after noon, and I'm waking you up now a little bit after 9. I'm sorry.
I'll forgive you.
I'm not that sorry, but I'm a little sorry. What's it like to be Brian Hirschberg? Like, what's it, you know, you have this incredible Instagram following, you're gorgeous, you're a spokesmodel, you dance. What is it like to do all that?
I mean, everything's fun. I'm just very like, if something's not fun for me to do anymore, I just don't do it, you know?
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I love that. So it's not just like, okay, if they're paying you, you're going. No, that's not the kind of deal.
No. You know, I'd rather do stuff that I really enjoy and I get like satisfaction from than just like chase a check around, you know?
Well, and you're also super talented. Like, you know, we're big fans of your drag mom. We love Velvet. Like, Velvet is just such a beautiful, beautiful individual.
She's amazing.
She is just so incredible. And we were blessed to watch you and her perform the other day at the Manor Complex. And,
oh my God, so much fun.
But that rarely happens where you see a gorge man like you performing with a drag queen. Like, you're one of the very few people who does that. Is that just because she's your drag mama, or is that just something that you enjoy doing? Like, how did that come up?
She has really taken a lot of time in trying to make me a better performer. So sometimes she'll be like, okay, we're going to do this. And to me, it sounds like, oh, this is a crazy idea. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And she's like, I picked this for you because I know you can do it. So do it and get out there and kill it. And it's like all of these different things that she's done, it's always teaching me something on how to be a better performer.
Ah, that's wonderful. And Velvet is so talented.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
She's won like every crown, and she deserves every crown. And keep doing it, girl.
She's incredible. She is absolutely incredible. And
Well, I mean, and we will love her forever. So, there's a bunch of interesting things that are going on, and I want us to talk about it. The LGBTQ community, as always, a bunch of stuff going on, and I want us to kiki about it.
absolutely,
All right?
absolutely.
Okay, so stretch. I know that it's early in the morning, and I woke your ass up, and I just wanted to see you flex. So over the weekend, Penn trans swimmer Leah Thomas, she competed in an Ivy League swim meet with Yale and Dartmouth and is smashing records. So there's been some calls to change rules, while UPenn and the Ivy League and the NCAA all show support for trans swimmers and trans athletes. What are we talking about this? What do you think? You think that she's gonna break all the records? You think that she's gonna have a lot of backlash from people that are against the trans community? What do you think is gonna happen there? I mean, we're both so in our community, and we're always fighting for the tea, but the rest of the world doesn't always follow suit,
Yeah. And I hope she goes in there and just takes everything, smashes everything, and just kills it. And I think there's always going to be backlash with things like this, and that is really unfortunate. But I think in the grand scheme of things, that is a step forward as far as trans visibility, as far as acceptance of trans people in sports. I think it's super important. And there's always going to be two sides to the story, but I think in the long run, it's going to be a very big positive.
I just wish that they would do some stats, like get some science behind it, get UPenn or get Yale and get them, okay, we're going to do a basic study on this. We're going to follow trans athletes. We're going to see, I know that there's a lot of T blockers, there's a lot of blockers and this and that, and what that means. And I know that there's muscle memory and stuff like that for athletes. Have some stats, have some science behind it to really support these trans athletes and have them get to the goals and meet these goals that they deserve to meet. Girl, be it all those people. Who cares? All right? We have your back.
Absolutely.
Next, let's talk about Omicron. Let's take that in for a second. Remember those couple of weeks where we were thinking that everything was going to go back to normal, right? How much fun that was. I even got rid of masks for a little bit of not the paper mask. I got rid of the mask with I had a bear claw on one of them. I had the gay flag on the other. I got rid of those because I didn't think we were going to need them anymore.
The one with the zipper.
The one with the zipper.
Absolutely.
Yes, to put a straw in. I got rid of all that. But just when we thought our LGBTQ plus nightlife events and parties would return to normal, boom! Florida explodes as the epicenter of new cases again. What are we talking about? What do you think about all this?
It's tricky. I think in Florida, things aren't really going to move back to how they were before things started reopening. I don't see that happening. I don't see nightlife establishments mandating masks. I see this kind of continuing to play out the way it's been playing out here. I think it's going to really affect other places more than it's going to affect Florida.
What's crazy is that if you talk to anybody in any other state, Brian, they're all very careful. I've got friends that just came back from the Midwest and from LA and from those states over there, and people were wearing their masks all the time. When I went to Mexico a couple of months ago, you couldn't be outdoors without a mask on.
Yeah.
They will come and give you una multa, which is if you have to pay a bill, pay a ticket for not having your mask on. That is how big on that, because they want their tourists to come back in Mexico. And we're very similar here in South Florida.
Yeah.
We really make a lot of money off the tourism industry.
Absolutely.
So people will wear their masks back home and then come here and not wear them and think that it's just, whatever.
Yeah.
So I hope people get vaccinated. I hope people that take this seriously, because, my wife is a nurse practitioner, and she says that there were 40 patients with COVID a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Yesterday, 480.
Yep.
Okay, most of those unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Next, so Happy New Year's. This is the last time I'm going to say Happy New Year's, okay? It's the second week of the year. I'm done, all right? No more Happy New Year's.
It's canceled.
But We begin the first full week of 2022. Those resolutions to get to the gym to look like your fine ass. Like maybe you actually took that resolution and did it. The rest of us did it, 2022 is going to be, what do you think 2022 is going to be like? What do you think about resolutions? What are we talking about? What do you think?
So I think 2022 is going to be an amazing year of everybody just going for it and doing it, and it's going to be awesome. Because I'm putting that out into the
That's
universe.
it. You're putting it out there. Like that's
absolutely.
Period. Like
Manifest
you're done with that.
That.
That's I think that this is a kind of year. 2020 sucked.
Yes.
Big ass cheeks.
Yes.
Okay. And we all went into 2021 like this is going to be the best year ever. So I was very weird about saying that for 2022.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was not the case in 2021. So now we're a little. Okay, let me not say too much. All right, it's going to be a good year, and that's it. So we're not going to put those hard resolutions on ourselves. I don't think we should, like going to the gym and looking like Brian. That's never going to happen. I mean, let's be real, But how about this year, I'm going to take time for self-care. This year, I'm going to take time to go volunteer for an LGBTQ organization. This year, I'm going to come and be straight up and represent the trans community. I'm going to do something like that this year.
Absolutely.
Those are attainable goals.
Absolutely.
All right, you're with me. Next, the Golden Girl. The Golden Girl, right? She was going to be, this week was planned to be the 100th birthday celebration of Betty White, right? And our LGBTQ plus icon passed on New Year's Eve. And memorials are happening everywhere. And the special is now going to be a tribute remembering Betty White. So what are we talking about? What do you think about Betty White and her passing? I mean, I was blown away by that. I couldn't believe it.
It was really sad. Well, I mean, it's sad.
She was almost 100. I mean.
But she was such an icon. She had such an amazing attitude. She really did a lot of amazing things before her time. Mm-hmm. And she kind of like marched to the beat of her own drum. It's just like inspiring. Everything she did was inspiring. Her career was amazing. And what a long career.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and she was always an ally for us.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite quotes that she said was like, why do they always tell you to grow some balls? Grow a vagina. That really takes a pounding. I mean, that's like, classic Betty White.
Absolutely.
It was like, coño, like I would even go to think that maybe she was such a big ally that she was close to being one of us. I swear, know. And I love how she died in 2021. Like, I am not gonna add crap to 2022.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, not going to do that for you. I'm going to die right here because I'm not going to taint 2022, and I love her for that.
She said that's enough.
That's enough. That's enough. I'm about to go eat cheesecake in the sky with the rest of the girls up there from Golden Girls.
They're waiting for her, you know that.
They really are. Brian, we are gay after all, so let's talk about some fun things that will help us get through this week. Here's something you don't hear often in our community. Over the weekend, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network launched the Hotspots Art Gallery with Dennis Dean. What do we love about this? It's the grand opening, and it happened last week, and it was, I was there. It was wonderful.
That's so exciting. And he's a super nice guy too.
Is he?
Really, really,
A lot of these artist types aren't. Like, they're very into, like, they've got to be like, it's a character. They've got to be sad to be able to make art, And
yeah.
and he's a nice guy.
Super, super, super nice guy. I've worked with him a couple times, and really professional, really talented, really sweet. And this space is kind of to highlight artists in this community.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So we need to have more of that. So
Absolutely.
Go by that gallery if you get a chance. The Hotspots Art Gallery is in Wilton Manors, and it is fantastic. So Mondays can be tough for you gay boys. Yeah, right? Because, you were partying last night. So Georgie's Alibi has a plan. At 7 p.m., my friend Antonio Edwards, you like how we say that, Antonio? Antonio Edwards celebrates Musical Journey. Then a second show happens at 10 p.m. called 5 Minutes of Fame, starring the iconic TP Lords. What do we love about this? Everything.
Everything. I love live music. Mm-hmm. I love to go anywhere and just feel like, oh my God, this is all going on around me, and just sit there and take it. And I think it's fantastic.
It's an energy. Like,
yeah.
It rises the energy there. Like, your vibrations are different when
Absolutely.
It's live music, right?
Absolutely.
And then can we talk about TP? TP is an icon. Like, I really do think that bitch can just like go into her trunk and like change her outfit right then and there in 10 minutes and do a completely different show for someone else.
Absolutely.
Like, that is her.
And on top of all that talent, like literally the most humble, sweet, like will come over and say hello to you and give you a kiss on the cheek. Like so sweet, which is, you meet iconic people like that, they're not always like that.
Yes, yes. Like I'm part
Wonderful
of
person.
I'm part of a lip sync challenge that's going to happen next month over at Hunters,
Okay,
right?
absolutely.
And
Okay.
I said, hey, TP, like by any chance, could you paint my face? Like I'll pay you. And she was like, girl, you crazy. No, we're going to do this, this, and that. And it's like, you don't expect that from an icon like that. You just don't, you know?
Absolutely.
Like little puny little Faye. I'm like, really? Gonna paint me? Yeah, girl.
What song are you doing?
I can't tell you. You have to go to see.
Oh, it's a secret. I'll have to go.
So we seem to celebrate our pride everywhere we go, and there is a new way on January 22nd as my buds, Todd Delmay and Jeff Oliverio lead the inaugural launch of Hollywood Pride. The full-day festival celebrates everything LGBTQ+, and the brand new 100% rating of Hollywood by the HRC. What do you love about this?
Oh, that's wonderful.
You know that like 5 years ago, Hollywood had like a 49 in their rating, a 49, okay? And in HRC, like you want a good score, but to have a 100% rating only 5 years into this is incredible. Like I would never think of Hollywood as like an LGBTQ hood. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't think of it. You always think about Wilton, you always think about Miami Beach, but Hollywood has a lot of LGBTQ there, and they put together a council to make sure that they were represented, you know, and now they get to have their first Pride.
How cool is it? And what a way to celebrate, you know?
What a way to celebrate. And it's not just like a regular Pride, let's parade, let's party, let's drink. They're having family time, they're having things to do with teenagers. We forget about gender fluid and we forget about LGBTQ teenagers that are in that middle space. So they can't be partying with us, but you know, and I love what they're doing, and I think it's going to be a fantastic Pride event. Do you think that we're saturated with too many Pride events?
I don't think there's ever too many Pride events. ever.
I agree. I just don't think that I don't think we can have too much of us anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. So we're coming to you from Happening Out Television Studios at Sunshine Cathedral. But did you know it is also a performing arts center? This Saturday, January 15th, the hilarious Miss Richfield, 1981, will star in her 8 p.m. show at Sunshine Performing Arts Center. Watch this.
Hi everyone, it's Miss Richfield 1981 and I have good news for you. Outlandish is back, but for only one night. I'll be doing my show on Saturday, January 15th at 8 p.m. And as always, I'll be at Sunshine Cathedral for the Performing Arts, my home in Fort Lauderdale. I love it there, and I know you will too. So, you can get tickets at sunshinecathedral.org. And so you go buy tickets and I'll go find something to wear. I can't believe I did this whole thing in my dressing gown. Scandalous. I'll see you on the 15th. Mwah!
So, what do we love about this? What do we love about her? She's funny.
Yeah.
She's funny, and she's been around forever. And I've only seen her perform once, and I love the fact that she's just like, one night only, bitches. 8 p.m., you better be there at Sunshine Performing Arts, and that's it, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think it's going to be a fun time. I think that everybody should go, and you know, I look forward to seeing what else she's got under her dress there on January 15th. Let's see what's up. Anyway, get tickets today. That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, it's what we will be all talking about this week and the events we want to attend. I want to thank Brian for getting up early, papito, and looking so good. I woke up like this.
Absolutely.
No, I didn't. Thank you, Brian, for waking up early for the FayWhat show. And remember, make sure to follow him on Instagram at Return of Babylon, okay? Make sure that you like him. I follow him as well, so if you can't find them on your own, just go to the FayWhat Instagram as well, and he's one of my friends there. I know how hard it is for you gay boys to, you know, wake up this early. I know you gay boys sleep late, so I really do appreciate it. But it's not like you need the extra sleeping to look any better. I mean, I would have dressed up if I would have known that you were going to look this good.
It's just good lighting in here, that's all.
Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
You've got good lighting in your freaking house? Only a gay boy would do that. Well, that's the first FayWhat show. I am really passionate about trying to connect the L and the G in our community, in our LGBTQ plus community. It's often really hard for us girls. If we believe we are one strong community, then we must support all the letters of our LGBTQ plus. That's L, G, B, T, and Q plus. Nothing like this has ever been done before. It's why we start with inspirations like Mary Tyler Moore and That Girl's Marlo Thomas. It's a new year. It's been a real tough 2 years. So let's be a little bit kinder a little bit funnier, and embrace our tremendous diversity. It's what makes us so strong. Until next Monday at 9 a.m. live or anytime on demand, I am FayWhat, and I am #thatgirl. Have a great week.
Rainbows, gay boys, #that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word is that girl, the girl of all our dreams. She's everything that every girl should be.